Welcome back, everybody, to BVarsity Live. We are thanks to Petra Kotelkova-Robles. Kotelkova-Robles. Yeah, exactly. For joining us in that first segment. Really awesome for her to share that story with us. I know that's not easy, and
she's a fantastic woman.
Yeah,
she really is.
And that Garces Water Polo Tournament begins at 2:00 tomorrow afternoon, also 8 a.m. on Saturday. So get out there and support Garces Water Polo if you are of that mind. We're now joined, and by the way, you can do that without interrupting your football weekend, which begins at 7:30 tomorrow night. Our game of the week is Wasco at North, our first BVarsity Game Night. And here in this seat tomorrow night, well, I'm out at North with Justin Roberts.
Well, he won't really be in the seat. We
That's true.
reconstruct this whole thing for Vance
It's going to
Palm.
be this man to my left, and that's Vance Palm. Dr. Palm, how are you?
I'm so stoked to be here, fellows. It's somewhat surreal. Is it really football season? It happens every year. It happens every year. We think, I'll be
I think it's the heat.
9 months from now, and then bam, we're in it. So good to see you guys. Great to be here.
Vance, I know that you're so great at juggling these things Friday night. What kind of mentality do you go into these Friday nights with, where you just never know what's going to happen or who's going to call or what game's going to be the one to watch?
BVarsity Game Night live last year. What an ambitious effort. We sat in here and had this prep meeting, all of us, and we kind of really didn't know exactly how it was going to go that first night. And Zach, it turned out to be such a fun, exciting event. My mentality going into it was, look at all these the quality guys that I'm working with. It's going to be just a lot of exciting, fun times, fun moments. The talent of all of you guys calling the games, everybody behind the glass. I felt like it was almost like a kind of we're producing our own TV show in Hollywood, man. Let's go.
Yeah, and this year we've pared it down a little bit. We're not doing the 3 live games, which might make your job a little easier. I don't know, but you'll still be taking calls from reporters in the field.
I'll be in your ear a lot more. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
Just make sure your phone's on, dude. Make sure it works and you get messages. That's all I care about, bro.
I don't even know what's going on, so I apologize.
So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Bakersfield.com right here. Also on ESPN Radio, 12:30 a.m. We're going to be simulcasting. You're on the air at 7 all the way up until 11. A lot of that's going to be me and Justin in between, but you're going to be kind of cutting in and out and giving folks updates from games all the way around the county and the central section. Speaking of which, our first game, Wasco North, and then Saturday night, by the way, this is new, Liberty at Mission Viejo, or Mission Viejo at Liberty, I should say. You knew that was going to be on Bakersfield.com. We just found out that's also going to be simulcast on the radio on News Talk 1180 KERN
Fantastic.
this week.
Wow.
So we've got that going on for you on Saturday night. A little bit of a doubleheader. And then starting next week, of course, a cause near and dear to your heart, Bakersfield College football begins next Saturday night.
And it's we're at that time of the year where Bakersfield College, the east side starts to get going. It starts to get a little bit exciting. We are opening. I look at this opening for BC. It's almost like NASCAR. We're starting with Daytona.
This is a big one.
Our first game is Riverside right out of the gate. Thank goodness it's at home. Thank goodness it's up on the hill. It's the second year for our quarterback. McGregor's back and running back. Our line looks good. Defense played well last night. So we're gonna have a much better fare against Riverside at home, I think, than we did last year.
Couldn't go a whole lot worse than it did last year. But
I like seeing a guy that we've had in that seat a few times, Isaiah Sharp, playing pretty well so far in the fall camp for the Gades.
Yeah,
running back. So that's
best
good.
part of calling Renegades games for me as a local kid growing up here is just say, and so from West High, and so from Highland High, and so from Independence High. So yeah, to see Sharp in there with McGregor, the line is almost predominantly always local. So. Let's get it. Let's see how they do. If they can come out of the first game, Zach, with a win, then
then they're rolling.
Then
they may be ranked number 1 in the state. Yeah.
Well, it could be very well that way, as at least top 5. So BC starting off with a big one, man.
Now that's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock kickoff. 7:30 kickoff. 7 o'clock pregame with hopefully. Monsignor Jeff Evans, we hope.
He will be there next Saturday night, September 5th, and every Saturday night except for their one bye week from then on. Again, we got Bakersfield College content in the preview. And
I'll be right next to Vance every Saturday.
Trevor will be there too.
You got it,
Is that
buddy.
the best seat in the house, or
I'm
what?
your lead cameraman, buddy. You better. We're gonna get close.
Show that shot.
Speaking of Monsignor.
God, I feel short looking at that shot. Shorter than usual.
Well,
we got BC content in our football preview this year for the first time as well. 3 full pages
and
for
you're
you.
on that page right now, aren't you, Vance?
You know what? I think what we're going to do is just have Jeff talk to you about BC football. I don't think Chudy likes talking to the media a whole lot. I don't think he has anything against Jeff. I just don't think he likes talking.
I got to hand
We're
it
gonna have you handle that.
I got to hand it to you guys, man. Casey, is that the best shot ever? Coach Judy telling the officials how it's going to go.
Yeah. Listen here.
You stand on that sideline. You stand on that sideline. You blow the whistle when I say to blow the whistle. That's a beautiful shot.
Coach Judy likes to tell people what to do.
It may be a part of it, yes.
He's pretty good at it, too. So that's starting September the 5th, and then every Saturday from then on out. When's the bye week? The 1 week is that Halloween?
It's Halloween.
Halloween,
and
they don't play.
Correct myself. Sorry, you were right. This coming September 5th is a 6 o'clock
6
kickoff.
p.m. I thought
You're
it
right.
was. Yeah.
5:30 pregame, and then
I'm always thinking about deadline. That's me.
That's you. Well, a funny story. I got to tell you guys. I'll make it quick. I'll try to anyway. Years ago, when I started doing Bright House, I always just cheated and brought the Californian with me. This is like before you were here. I would just bring the sports section, La Cava sports section, and I would bring it here. And I always seemed so enlightened that I had all this local information, but I had the Californian stuff in my back pocket. Now these cats are putting together like 200-page things. This is phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. So I have all the content I would ever need. So that's why I brought it to the show today.
Well, good deal.
Why look around? Here it is, man.
I got an old high school buddy up in the Fresno area. Said he saw everything online. He was like, "Hey, can you ship me? I want to hold it in my hands." And I was like, "Yeah, you got it."
Yeah,
This
that
is
thing weighs
incredible.
like 3 pounds. You can actually get in shape.
It's
reading
incredible,
it.
man. What a killer shot of goal. Are we going to talk high school football today at all, or should we just back
Let's
over?
do it,
no,
man.
no.
What do you think?
I think that, Coach Gola is probably sending your wife flowers and you a big box of chocolate and just saying, hey, thanks for putting us, thanks for ranking us third. Zach,
Hey,
I appreciate
the
it. I
guy
don't have
we're
to
going
put
to talk
any.
to, the guy we're going to talk to next, Vance, Nick Papagni, he has him sixth.
Oh, wow.
He has him sixth.
You guys are so gracious to Coach Gola for doing that. I mean, he just gets to walk in the locker room and say, well, guys, we're picked to finish behind Liberty again. That's beautiful stuff, man.
But, the
you gotta
Patriots,
look at
by the
the
way, got a
Patri-
pretty
yeah.
good team.
No, look, Coach Nixon, I talked to some guys last night and the night before about this whole thing, and they believe that absolutely, positively, this is no fluke. It's a 2-year, 3-year run that Liberty's on, and Coach Nixon is absolutely in control of probably the top-ranked team. So you're right on target.
What happened? What opened my eyes when we had our coaches show a couple of weeks ago? Nixon comes in here, and he's an understated guy. He's not going to. He doesn't blow a lot of smoke. He's not a braggadocio or anything. Although I have heard he gives a hell of a pregame speech. But
that's not about him.
No, it's not about. He came in here, and I brought up the 2010 Centennial team that he coached when Cody Kessler was a senior, and they were all world, and they were beating the pulp out of everybody. And then late in the season, they kind of stumbled on their toes a little bit. But for 6 or 8 weeks there at the beginning of the year, they were as good as anybody in the state.
Absolutely.
And I brought that team up, and I thought he was going to be sort of, don't bring that up, that. Don't compare teams. And I said, is this team as good as that one? He said, I think they could be better.
Oh, boy.
And that's when that's when you sort of think,
Well,
maybe he's really got something here.
I thought you were going to say he gave you that Nixon
No,
stare that can give you like,
and
oh,
I
my
knew I
gosh.
might have been getting myself in trouble, but instead he
Hey,
goes, I think we could be
I
better.
will tell you this. I talked to Bob Johnson, Mr. Viejo's head coach today, and I talked to Nixon on the phone today. And the first thing out of Nixon's mouth is, hey, thanks a lot for putting me number one on the storylines of the year. And, but he has fun with it. He
Hey, I toned
understands-
it down, by the way. Trevor was he was going to be tough for on Brian. Did you tell him that?
No, I don't
Yeah,
need to
you
tell
wouldn't
him
have.
that.
This is
That's your
awesome, by
job.
the way,
I'm going to
guys.
tell him Saturday.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of joked. I was like, but Brian, when? He goes, I know. But it's that thing. It's the short list of guys that have even made it to the section title 3 years like he has. It's Denman, it's Gola, it's Nixon. And so, it's just a matter of him, finding that next step. And maybe it is this year. I don't know.
It might be. If it's not,
he's going to get a lot of tests in September. I'll tell you that with Ridgeview, with
he'll know what he's got.
Yeah,
in a
Mitch
month.
Viejo.
He'll know what he's got.
Cathedral San Diego on the 25th. I mean,
and then the
keep going.
SWIL. He'll know what he's got. And I mean, the point is, look, it could go any which way. We know BHS is going to be tough. It's very tough to beat Gola twice in a row. He did it last year. Now he's got to beat him 3, maybe 4 times in a row if he really wants to get to where he's going.
point.
But this is as good as of a team as he's had at least since that 2010 Centennial team that was ranked number 1 most of the season. So that'll be really interesting to see. How about Vance, and if you want to plead the fifth here and read the preview before you come up with this, who's a team off the radar that you think is going to have a big year?
Off the radar.
So I'm taking Ridgeview off the table. I'm taking Liberty. I'm taking BHS, and I'm probably taking Centennial off the table too.
West Side Vikings.
All right.
Yeah,
West
that's
Side
actually
Vikings.
good call.
I'm a big
That would-
fan.
that would have
big
been
fan
mine.
of the coach. Always have been. Knows football very well. Had a long time storied coach here that I won't mention his name told me, Vance, he knows football. He knows every position on the football field more than anybody I've ever coached with. So there's always a couple of talented kids there that can come out of nowhere. BC's got like 10 of them,
Yeah,
the
all
Vikings
Westside
on their
guys,
roster,
man.
right? So if I have to, throw one out there, we'll go with the Vikings.
How about you, Trevor? Give me an under the radar, and you can go lower division, but I don't want a Cesar Chavez who's one of the favorites in D4. I want somebody who's not considered a favorite now, but we might be in 10 weeks.
South.
Okay.
This is the team that won the SCYL championship, and I know that it's a lower. There's Miramonte and Foothill, two teams that are kind of struggling to win games in that league, but I like what Kerry Mills has done. I think he's done a great job taking over in a tough situation after the passing of John Wren, and I think that he's got the line play to do it. He has got 8 defensive starters coming back. He's got a returning quarterback and returning running back, and I think that if they can get the ball rolling first, I know they're not going to be the favorite in D3 because that's all Hanford, but if they can get on the opposite, if they can get through the regular season and get on the opposite side of Hanford, maybe they can get to the section title game. I think that that there's a lot of things going well for the Rebels.
No, there's no doubt about that. Okay, I'll give you guys 3. I'll give you a big school, small school, medium school. Stockdale.
Yep.
Okay. Stockdale's going to be good. Mark it. Medium school. How about Highland?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I-
I
you know, and-
almost said Highland.
And I don't know
but
that Highland's going to be like 8-2 or anything, but they're going to be better than they have been.
Yep.
And my small school, and really they play in Division 3, but they're a small school, Bakersfield Christian. And we were looking at their schedule earlier, Trevor. That team has a rough schedule. And we'll talk. They play Templeton tomorrow.
It's feast or famine.
Yeah,
with
if
that
they
team.
if they don't beat Templeton, and that's going to be a tough game. They have they could go 0-4, 0-5, 0-6. I mean, they got a
You're
really
having fun
tough
right
schedule.
now, aren't you, Vance?
Well,
But-
this is what I do. I go through all the work
Yeah.
that you guys do and kind of
Look
glance
at that!
off
Look at
it.
that! You got Bakersfield Christian page open right now. Look at that
No, I
schedule.
know.
It is nasty.
Templeton, Visalia Central,
Central Valley Christian.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry,
And if
Central Valley
anybody's-
Christian,
if
Tulare
anybody,
Mission Oak. They get a break at Ridgeview on the 18th. Then they get Wasco at home.
and then Kennedy and Chavez, who are good teams too. I mean,
Junior Michael Foy has taken over as a quarterback for that team. Darren Carr just told me today. And look at what he has to replace. Brandon Jones, who's now at Ventura College, passed for almost 8,000 yards and 90 touchdowns in 2 years, and then
I'm gonna
ran for
tell you
another
right
16.
now, and Matt Smith and Grant
Yeah.
Bauman from 2 years ago. I'm going to tell you right now, there is more talent there than we know about, and I think by the end of the year, that is going to be a team that could really threaten a deep run in D3. Nobody's talking about them right now. They might start 0-4, 1-5, whatever the case is. Maybe they won't, but if they start out slow like that, they're going to be off of everybody's radar. Keep an eye on them.
Talk about some pre-games I'd like to be a part of. All those cars in there.
Yeah, you think they've heard a few good pregame talks in their
Wow.
days?
Hey, and not if they get, let's say they get a little good juice up front and get a couple wins early, and that starts to get some momentum flowing. Oh goodness, look out!
You better look. If they start out hot, then really look out. But that
Right, then
schedule
they'll
is
run the
front
table.
loaded.
Wow.
So, anyway, we're going to take a break. We got Nick Papagni coming on the phone after the break from Fresno. Vance, you can stick around.
Absolutely.
Let's talk some football with Nick from Fresno right after this on BVarsity Live.